What you doing?
We're live, baby. We are live and streaming at this very moment.
I was like, what happened? Why is it that the audio continues to cut out? I don't understand.
Yeah, no audio.
It was working. Yeah, it was working before we went live. Then you push the play button.
It played on our side.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I don't know.
I hope it did on everybody
All right,
else.
DCTV
I didn't hear it.
We'll get our shit together.
Yeah.
What's up, DCTV? Good morning. It is 9/7/2022. That's September 7th, 2022. It is 9:02 a.m. The Yahoo Finance homepage tells me that S&P futures are actually down after they were up this morning. Get going into the open. We're about 28 minutes away from that. It's down 7.25 points. The Dow is down 65 points. The NASDAQ is down 575, 5.75. Don't want to do that. And we also have Bitcoin that has been absolutely trounced yesterday. It is down 5.5% right now at 18,782. It's getting wrecked. Jaime, Tamp, and Greg.
Yes. Good morning. And regarding the Bitcoin, we're actually sitting on a Fibonacci level. You'll notice it came down and just slightly bounced off of it. The big question is, will it continue down to our buy levels? Please. Or will it bounce and come up to maybe the $23,000 level to kind of wash everyone out who shorted too early and then fill the orders that we've set up? So it's looking very interesting, very juicy. And on the monthly, you can see there is nothing to hold us moving down. We only have this big nice green dildo right there and a wick from the 2017 bull run. So there is nothing else. There is no other level on the monthly level to stop us down to our 13,888. I did a long form last night, which we'll be publishing today. You'll see more details. Back to the studio, Mr. J.B. Smith.
Where'd the J come from?
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
You are.
God damn.
It'd be better if we switched that and made him BJ. Brad Jesus.
Or in my country, Jesus B. Smith.
Oh, yes.
Jesus.
All the talk of dildos and BJs. We are a family-friendly show.
And Philip actually posted a question.
Babies.
Yeah. I know it's not crypto or stock related, but who's going to win tomorrow night, B. Smith? Bills or Rams? Good morning, boys and gals.
Bills. Easy.
False.
I got Bills by 10.
Jeez. No love for LA.
No, I mean, listen, they're like half the team that they were when they won the Super Bowl.
I mean, that's fair,
Wait,
but they still are who they are, and their coaches.
The Cowboys don't win Super Bowls. That's the 90s.
Yeah, I saw him at Smith selling his mansion up there in Plano, Frisco area. It's gone. A huge development.
Who do you? I mean, while we're on the topic of football, I mean, we have more than just one game going on this week, and I feel like it's worth just chatting about real quick before we get into all of our other stuff. Which, by the way, guys, as you saw, the title was, the Fed wants you to lose money, and they might want you to lose your crypto too. There's a lot of other things we're going to be chatting about today, and we're actually introducing a new segment or new bit. Newsflash, hi man, Greg. It's called.
I'm like,
we came up with this in the dark.
It's called Factor FUD, and I think we're just gonna play around with it. We're still in our infancy for DCTV in the mornings, and so we're just kind of gonna play around with some things. So let us know what you guys think about that coming up. But who's winning the Super Bowl? Before the season starts, you always got to figure out. You always got to stake your claim. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Man,
Packers. One last run with Rodgers before he's done.
That's fair.
The Packers?
Yes.
The Packers with no Devontae. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against the man, the myth, and the legend. It's got to be Tampa Bay. It's got to be. Why? Because of Tom Brady. That's why. That's it. Period. Yeah. The end. If this truly is very last season, and he really will go off into retirement. I mean, the man's been pissed before, but now he's driven, right? Really driven.
Yeah, especially because his marriage is apparently on the line.
Oof.
Ooh.
I mean,
Do you
fair enough.
Bring
But
the
listen,
trophy home or it wasn't worth it and you're out.
regardless of the topic, Tom Brady's been through some shit before in the middle of season. This ain't like the first time that, he's had some drama elsewhere to possibly distract him. And as we all know, it didn't distract him. So it's not going to be any different this go around.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm going to be biased and I'm going to say the Ravens. And one of the big reasons
Fair.
why I'm saying that is because they literally had half of their team on IR last year and were one game away from playoffs. They actually led the AFC all the way up until week 8 when Lamar Jackson went down. So they're all back. They're all healthy. I can only imagine what that team looks like now that everybody's back. So I'm going
Lamar
Ravens.
Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to go against leaders like that. Those guys are studs, man.
Yes, they are.
Studs. If you have a stud like that and some stout O-line, you got a legit shot to win some ships. You really do.
Yep.
But I'm interested to know too. I'm way 100 times more of a college football fan than I am the NFL, and I'm interested to know about our audience. I would love to know which do you prefer, the league or the college game? Just throw it up in the chat. Why not? And don't forget to like us as well, because this is a damn good start.
Why do I have to discriminate? Why can I like both?
You can like both, but stop being a weirdo. You got to like one more than the other.
And Coach, I think, Coach Tam,
Yeah.
I think a little background on you too of why you like college and how.
Man, I was an athlete growing up. I played soccer at Texas A&M University. Gig 'em. And after that, I got into strength and conditioning or athletic performance, where everything from the weight room to conditioning, nutrition, sports psych, recovery, all that kind of stuff. And I did that at Texas A&M, and then I bounced over to Duke. I spent 4 amazing years in Durham at Duke University, and then my farewell, job in that career was Baylor University. Was part of the crew that came in and helped turn the team and a whole culture around, and we were killing it, absolutely killing it, and got to work with some amazing athletes in that time. And so I'm a huge fan of college football. I love it. I absolutely bleed it.
Yeah, that was the RG3 days. Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of guys' days. It was him. It was Lake Seastrunk. It was Josh Gordon. I mean, it was, Xavier Howard. It was Kendall Wright. It was Terrence Williams. It was a lot of guys, unreal guys. Cyril Richardson. I mean, Sean Oakman, like unreal guys.
Now you see why Tampa is a fan of college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Amazing guys. So who knows? Maybe some of them want to get paid or do something with crypto, and we'll call them up and get them on the show. That's a done deal. That would be fun.
That would be dope.
Outstanding.
Yep. It's weird. Like the car world, like cool cars, whether they're exotics or drops or whatever, cars, sports, cryptos, and basically steak or just like meat. They all go together. And I don't know why that is. And you throw alcohol in there too, but food, cars, crypto, sports. It's like an absolute amazing mesh of awesomeness.
And music too. We may bring Boss Don to visit us, who also visited the facility recently. So it's going to be very interesting conversations.
Cool. Yeah, Boss Don's all over the place right now, man. That guy, he's doing everything. I don't know. He has 30-hour days. So the rest of us function in 24-hour days.
Dude,
he's everywhere.
2 a.m. I have conversations with that man. I don't know what time he sleeps or what time zone he sleeps in, but he's a beast.
Well, if you're up too, Jaime, that says something. Go your ass to sleep.
Yeah.
Boss Don, stop texting me in the middle of the night.
That's creepy. It reminds me of the what is that? The State Farm commercials. We're
with khakis. What are you wearing?
Yeah. She sounds hideous.
Khakis.
We got some people shouting out. We got Lord Fenrir in here. His team is all new this year, and he's referring to the Bears.
The
Bears. You know what? I love underdogs. I'm with you, Lord Fenrir.
Yeah, the forever underdogs.
No.
You never know.
They're going to get their ass whipped by Green Bay twice.
Yes, they are. That's all right.
Lord,
He knows it.
Lord, say something.
Mr. DeSoto is a boomer sooner.
Oh, gotcha. OU. Okay, then go ahead. I love my
Nice.
Aggies. I love my Bears. Gotta love them.
Beautiful.
A bunch of guys that I coached with at Baylor at OU now. Shout out Jeff Levy. What's going on, man?
Amazing.
All right. Let's get to work. So we have some interesting topics here, and I want to start our new segment. We'll see how long it lasts. It may only be a day. We'll see. But it's called Fact or FUD. And we got two articles in particular that I think they're worth talking about. One of them being that the Fed wants you to lose money in stocks and probably crypto too. This is a article that came out by Helene Braun over at CoinDesk, and basically talks about how Fed policy is leaning towards potential recession. And this was something that I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Tamp brought this one to the table. So let's go ahead and elaborate on this. The tighter financial conditions that the Fed is bringing to the economy, it is an interesting dynamic, right? Because nobody wants to see unemployment rise, but you kind of have to in order to bring down inflation. So it is a very what is this?
Rope.
It's not. Yeah, it's a tightrope. It's a position that I certainly wouldn't want to be in. I wouldn't envy the Fed. I wouldn't envy Jerome Powell being in the position that he's in. But man, guys, thoughts on this?
Yes, he's forced to. I mean, if the economy and inflation is out of control, and the only tool they have is what they're doing at this very moment, you kind of are running with your hands tied. And there has to be a reset or a cooling down or a soft landing. But if you only have a hammer and you need a screwdriver, how do you solve this? It's a very difficult position to be in. And the fact that they want you to lose money because of the economies behind it, in terms of seeing the right numbers show up in our reports, it's not an efficient way of doing it. So I think we're in for a bit of pain coming into the end of this year.
They
quarter.
just consider it a necessary evil to balance out.
Mhm.
So Jaime, with that thought, is it fact or FUD that the Fed wants you to lose money?
Well, it's fun. They didn't specifically say, I want you to lose the money. It's actually the fact where it says the Fed wants to create a reverse wealth effect to get people that own assets that to rethink some of their purchase habits and maybe slow demand. So they're trying to control the misuse of capital from their perspective. It's misuse, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So it could be FUD built into it. It is FUD. I mean, it really creates fear, uncertainty, and doubt when you see this type of thought process going through. And because Bitcoin has not delinked or detached from the general market yet. So it is affected by these types of decisions. But I'm not complaining because it's coming.
I'm going to go fact, man. Yeah, I'm going to go fact on this.
Okay,
go
here we
fact.
go.
Because I mean, the Fed, they have to tighten down somewhere. They have to, right? And clearly it's not in inflation. Inflation's out of control. So the only thing they can tighten down right now that is quote unquote within their control, which is all going to be backdoor handshakes and under the table agreements, is to lower the prices of equities of the stock market, right? And crypto a lot of times follows those markets, and it follows the tech markets, right? So I do think the Fed is going to start pushing down. September is traditionally a terrible month in the crypto world. Brad, you can expand more on the market world if it's that bad there too. But
historically, the worst month of the year.
Well, there you go, right?
Yeah.
And so crypto, especially Bitcoin, tends to follow that trend. And if inflation is out of control, the only thing I think the Fed has left to manipulate at this point is price. So equities and crypto are gonna feel the burn a little bit here. That's why we've been talking about DCAing. Not only all the way up to September, but also through September. Your DCA in September, you're probably going to get some really good buys in September compared to when obviously we crawl out of the bear market. But I'm going to call fact on this.
Yeah, I'm also saying that this is fact. I definitely appreciate the FUD part of this as it relates to crypto. Like, I don't think this is a reason to sell or a reason to get out and run for the hills. But the professor Jeremy Siegel from Wharton School of Business over at UPenn, I had talked about how the Fed's going to just keep going until we see some sort of recession or something breaks, and that he thinks that are going to be too high. Jeremy Siegel, if you guys aren't familiar with him, is a highly experienced, highly intelligent individual who usually is spot on with this type of stuff. And you see what's happening. You see some of the comments that are coming out of the Fed from other members of the Fed, not just Jerome Powell, and directly talking about stocks still being too high. And that, to me, kind of speaks volumes in what they're trying to actually accomplish. Yes, they want to bring down inflation, but they continually talk about the stock market as if it needs to come down even more. So I think that there is definitely some facts involving the Fed really wanting us to lose money. I mean, it's the only way that we're going to be able to actually tamp down inflation is if people have less spending power. And the only way to do that is to, make sure we have less money to go around. So I think that there is a tightrope to walk. And I think that there's also some really harsh truths that we're going to have to accept. And one of those is that we're just going to have less money to spend to solve the inflation problem.
And this has an effect not just in the US. What many forget is this policy affects the world.
Yes.
Just because everyone's based on the dollar system.
It already is, right? I mean, look at the dollar right now. Look how strong it is. It's crazy.
Correct. And the thought process is in the exterior is that the US economy is the most stable. And if interest rates are rising, that means I can go park my money in the US. So convert to dollars and send it up to the United States for long-term returns. So, but the net effect of that locally in countries like Indonesia, Argentina, you're seeing it all over the world where the basic goods are just going skyrocketing. Although we're trying to aim for a soft landing in the US, it's taking basic necessities out of people's reach almost in certain areas. And then on top of that, we're seeing what's going on with the power systems, electricity, gas, the utilities as a whole in Europe. So there's quite a few things converging now in September that would trigger something on a massive scale is what I'm seeing at the moment.
So we may not be seeing it at the same scale as Argentina, but I'm sorry, our price for goods here is insane as well, right?
Yep.
Hell, McDonald's, 2 Happy Meals is now like $12 for 6
Yep.
freaking nuggets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous for what we're spending on not just going out and eating, but even groceries alone. I know my budget inside my house has gone up at least $200 a month.
Easy.
And we're not doing anything different. If anything, we're actually buying less.
Yes. Our card looks emptier,
right?
And so does our wallet for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a domino effect, right? I mean, I think that Europe is going to see one of the, I don't want to say one of the worst, but they're going to see a pretty bad recession. And it's already starting. The crazy part is that they're going to continue to move forward with sanctions on Russia that are to be implemented December 5th, which hurts supply as far as energy is concerned, even more than it is right now. And they're kind of pigeonholed. What choice do they have? Do they play ball with Russia and let them just take over Ukraine for the sake of, energy? And maybe you can make the arguments for yes. But from a moral standpoint, it's like you can't just let them get away with it. So what do you do? And I think this all goes back to policy, especially from Germany and Europe. And we touched on this a little bit yesterday, but policy has just absolutely been atrocious. And they just all for the sake of renewables, right? Like they want to move into renewable energy, but they want to do it just too fast, and their infrastructure is not there. And now they've gotten themselves to a point to where they either freeze during the winter, or they play ball with Russia, or I don't know how else they're going to figure it out. The other problem here is that we also here in the U.S. have throttled a lot of natural resources in the form of gas and oil. And while we are the largest exporter of those resources, we still have a lot that we can do in terms of that, and we're just not doing it. And I think, unfortunately, it's just Europe is going to have a really tough time over the next year, 2 years, maybe even longer than that.
No doubt, especially since those sanctions come right before the 2 coldest months of the year in January and February, even into March. So you're looking at a couple months, at least a few months of some real pain. And it'll be interesting too. I mean, the US has the midterm elections coming up in November. So if Europe does get to a situation where they need the US to step in on a military type basis, what's going to happen then? We have our midterms. We basically go into gridlock. That's a major decision to go into war. What does that look like? Is this, where we say, oh no, we're hands off, you guys figure it out up to this point? That doesn't seem really fair. But in the same breath, who wants to go to war as a party right after the midterm elections?
Yep. There's a reason Elon Musk stopped the buy of Twitter. He said World War III. So.
Yeah, I saw that. That was kind of a crazy comment. Here's what I'll say about you as the investor. When some of you may be worried about what the hell is going on and what should I do with my money, whether you're in crypto or in traditional investing, the NASDAQ has been down 7 days in a row, and it could be, this is according to Fundstrat, a constructive signal. This doesn't guarantee anything, but since 1970, stocks, when the NASDAQ is down 7 days in a row, stocks have gone higher 74% of the time, 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months later. So maybe we see a bit of a flush out here in the short term, and we could see a potential bounce in the near term or the intermediate term. 1 to 6 months from now, 75% chance, 74% chance that stocks will be higher. So,
absolutely,
there's always statistics out there, but we've also seen this in the crypto world too. Isn't that right, Jaime?
Absolutely. And you see the world still moving forward with crypto. Here's an example of that is Brazilians spent almost 1 billion in Brazil, just Brazil, 1 billion on crypto in May. And their CBDCs, which are the central bank digital coins. So in other words, crypto tokens issued by governments. They're looking at piloting it at the beginning of 2023. So they're moving forward regardless of all this, but it shows quite a bit of let me zoom it in. Thank you. I'm wondering why Greg was doing the crabby. Now I understand. My apologies. So you see here where they've been tracking, as in May, they spent about $756 million US, and they're looking to also launch their own digital coin. Here's the interesting part, and I like their point of view. And of course, everything's tracked. You can see purchased within Brazil versus imported from outside the cryptos. They're keeping well tracked the transactions going on. But and they say it's about January 2023 where they'll finish testing this. The CBDC, the Reais digital coin. But their goal, and this is what I love to see, is the bank says that its project will help boost financial inclusion in the digital age and will be of particular benefit to the unbanked individuals. So this is a really, one, they have full visibility into all transactions with CBDCs that they would not with cash. Here they can see where it will go. And when it's unbanked, now you're opening up the world to peer-to-peer transactions.
Yep.
So as peer-to-peer, now I can send you without an intermediary, a bank or a processor, for payments. Usually those fees made it impossible for someone to buy a bike for their business to go up a mountain, in that level of economy. So peer-to-peer allows you to, now I give you precisely the amount you need with no middleman in the middles, enabling micro transactions, micro economies do now flourish. So it's a good push forward. And this is happening while the world is melting from a specific standpoint, at least the Northern Hemisphere.
I got a question for you about this, and I know that you guys have to go in just a few minutes,
Yes,
but I see, especially South America, and we see it in now a little bit in Europe as well, the crypto and Bitcoin adoption happening much faster in those types of countries, third world type countries, and I'm wondering if this is going to give them the upper hand on the U.S. because the U.S. is just so slow to really adopt this, and it may not seem like it's slow, but I think just the way that governments are adopting cryptocurrency versus ours, I think puts us at risk.
So the fact that Mr. Wonderful from the Shark Tank has to go to Canadian exchanges for ETFs and to invest and to deploy capital for crypto kind of tells you everything in terms of what we need to know. Usually the US is the bleeding edge in this development. And Bitcoin was developed here. Like initially it was launched here, although it was the dark web and all, but the technology itself was, the whole conversation was deployed. Al Finney, one of the original programmers, was from the US. So the fact that legislation, we in the US have been slow in legislating it, is what's setting us behind, because people like Mr. Wonderful or other BlackRock, they can't fully invest in it until there's legislation put out. Right. Australia, Canada, and all these other countries have already issued at least some good guidance towards it, instead of regressive assertions by the government of crypto's bad, or this is a Ponzi scheme. Right. So that has to change, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I know you guys got a jet, and actually I was just thinking about this. I think we're all going to have to hop off because of our technical limitations right now. That Jaime is the only one that has the power to sign us off.
Oh, all right. Love the family. Love you guys. Join us on Discord, and we'll plan this better. By the way, we're all distributed everywhere at this very moment.
Yeah,
so we're everywhere coming together to entertain you and educate you. So please come to themetify.co, and you can jump on all our socials. Join us on Discord, which is in the chat, and we will be seeing you tomorrow. Love you guys.
I do like the Factor FUD though. This is cool. Let's bring it tomorrow as well. Factor FUD
tomorrow, everyone.
We'll continue to refine that. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, and fuck off Friday too.
No, who gives a fuck?
oh yeah. Who gives a fuck? All right, guys. Have a great one.
See you.
Have a great morning.